Good morning, everyone. Today I will be discussing about the intermediate scholars and adolescents' physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional development. First to discuss is the late childhood or the intermediate scholars. The contents of this presentation will be about physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional development of the intermediate scholars and the adolescents. Physical development of intermediate scholars. Early puberty on the average, girls are generally as much as 2 years old ahead of boys in terms of physical maturity. Puberty's changes start when the brain triggers the production of sex hormones. Changes during early puberty girls. Small lumps from behind the nipple may occur, which something could be painful but eventually the pain goes away. The vulva starts and increase a bit. The vagina gets longer. The uterus gets bigger. Hairs will start to grow in the armpit and public area. For the boys, may also have swelling on their chest but tend to go away within a year. Subtle increase in testicle size. Penis and scrotum starts to grow. Semen may be released when he is awake or even during a sleep. Hair will start to grow and become thicker. New hair will start to grow in the armpit and public area around genitals. May start developing chest and facial hair. Height, weight, and muscles development. Many of the bodily structure like the liver, muscles, skeletons, kidneys, and face follow a normal curve of development for both girls and boys. Increased bodily fat. Girls appear to chubby, while boys tend to have more lean body movements inch of height than girls. Motor skills. During this stage, movements or the muscles and bones become more coordinated. At the age of 10 or 11, most children will have learned to play sports like swimming, basketball, volleyball, and running. From the age of 8, children show greater coordination writing. Insecurities. At this age, children may become very concerned about their physical appearance. Girls especially may become concerned about their weight and decide to eat less. Boys may become aware of their stature and muscle size and strength. Implication to childcare, education, and parenting. During this stage, children are more physically active, however, they still have a lot of physical maturity to undergo. Here are some points to consider for healthcare providers, teachers, and parents. Provide ample opportunities at home and in school for physical exercises and sports. Encourage children to participate in varied worthwhile activities until they are able to discover the ones they are intended in. Develop a strong emotional attachment with your children so as to address any insecurities and social concern. Since children in this stage have more control over their eating habits, provide them healthier foods choices. Next is the cognitive developments of intermediate scholars. Initial cognitive characteristics, their ability to use logic and reasoning give them chances to think about what they want and how to get it. They now become interested in talking about their future or even their potential careers. They develop a special interest in collection, hobbies, and sports. They are even capable of understanding concepts without having direct hands-on experiences. Reading development. Children in this stage is marked by a wide application of word attack. They are no longer in the fairy tales and magic type of stories but are more interested in longer and more complex reading materials. In choosing book appropriate to their age, consider the following. Consider who the child is, his or her personality traits and personal preferences when choosing a book. Make a selection with the child in mind. Choose an informational book or novel in an area of specific interest. Choose books that encourage discussion and insight building. Attention. Older children have longer and more flexible attention span compared to younger children. Their span of attention is dependent on how much is required by the given task. In terms of school homework, older children can concentrate and focus more for a long period of hours, especially if they are highly interested in what they are doing. Creativity. Children at this stage are open to explore new things. Creativity in children is encouraged with activities. Encourage different responses from each child. Celebrate uniqueness. Break stereotypes. Value process over products. Reduce stress and anxiety in children. Support to share ideas not only with the teacher, parents, but also with others. Minimize competition and external rewards. Impacts of media. The dream of having a television unit in every classroom started in 1950s. The impact of the use of television and other media like the computer has gained popularity because students are given an opportunity to communicate effectively in speech and writing, work collaboratively, use technological tools, analyze problems, set goals, and formulate strategies for achieving those goals, seek out information or skills on their own as needed to meet their goal. Media and aggression. Violence and aggression are often dubbed as one of the result of media. According to the Public Health Summit in 2000, the following are some negative results of media. Children will increase antisocial and aggressive behavior. Children may become less sensitive to violence and those who suffer from violence. Children may view the world as violent and mean, become more fearful of being a victim of violence. Children will desire to see more violence in entertainment and real life. Children will view violence as an acceptable way to settle conflicts. Implication to childcare, education, and parenting. Children have varying intelligence profiles. These profiles may be based on influence and learning and achievements. Parents, childcare provider, and teachers should be able to recognize this truth. Being an eager participant in children's growth and development, understand how to use the children's natural curiosity to help make the appropriate developmental leap in their skills and abilities, creating an atmosphere where risks can be taken and discoveries made while children remain safe. Understanding self-competence, self-identity, and self-concept. One of the most widely recognized as a characteristic of this period of development is the acquisition of feeling of self-competence. During late childhood, children can now describe themselves with internal and psychological characteristics and traits. They most likely enjoy more social comparison, distinguishing themselves from others. Emotional development. The same with other areas of development, children in this stage show improved emotional understanding, increased understanding that more than one emotion can be experienced in a single experience. Another milestone in this stage is the development of the children's emotional intelligence or EQ. Emotional intelligence has four main areas, which are building friendship. The approval and belonging needs they receive contributes to the stability and security of their emotional development. Precise also and least supervision by adults is required. At this stage, children prefer to belong to same-sex peer groups. Family. Family support at this stage is crucial. If the children do not find a supportive family, when they find their interests, they can easily get frustrated. If families are primary support system, failure and setbacks become temporary and surmountable rather than something that attributes to personal flaws or deficit. Implication to childcare, education, and parenting. Intermediate school children's socio-emotional competency should be viewed in the context of the child development age. Healthcare providers, teachers, and parents should be able to gain understanding of their child's socio-emotional strengths and weaknesses by encouraging children to talk about their feelings without doing it forcefully. Provide opportunities for children to build relationships with teachers and fellow classmates. Remind children that friendships have their ups and downs. Occasional conflict and arguments can be healthy. Design activities that allows children to work on their own and discover activities and hobbies that they enjoy. Model healthy relationship. Now let's proceed to the adolescence, the high school learner. Physical development of high school learners. Physical development at puberty, a considerable alteration in growth rate occurs. There is a swift increase in body size, a change in shape and composition of the body, and a rapid development of the gonads or sex glands, the reproductive organs, and the character signaling sexual maturity. Some of the changes are common to both sexes, but most are sex specification. It is at the beginning of adolescence, the years of the greatest growth, the developmental differences between girls and boys become most evident. Girls generally reach puberty ahead of boys. Factors affecting development. Hormones are powerful and highly specialized chemical substances that interact with bodily cells. Hormonal changes in the hypothalamus and pituitary glands signal the entire process of sexual maturation. The process entails first, secretion of gonadotropic hormones by the anterior pituitary at the base of the brain near the geometric center of the head. Second, gonads, which are those ovaries for the female and the testes for the male, are stimulated by the gonadotropic hormones, in turn stimulating their own hormones. Third, this stimulation causes the secretion of testosterone in the sex male organ and estrogen in the female ovary. The secular trend is a phenomenon of more rapid physical maturation during this century. It is ascribed to varied factors such as interaction of genetic environmental influences, improved healthcare and living conditions, and control of infectious diseases. Observably, the secular trend in industrial countries appear to be leveling up while the experience of secular trend is just starting in the peasant economies of the world. Sexual identity. Adolescents are concerned about their body image, sexual activeness, show to the sex and future of their sexual lives. Most adolescents manage to develop a mature identity. Adolescents are concerned about their body image, sexual attractiveness, show to the sex and future of their sexual lives. Sexual orientation is a person's tendency to be attractive to people of the same sex or the homosexual orientation, of the opposite sex, heterosexual orientation, and same-sex, bisexual orientation. In terms of sexual identity, adolescence is the period when most gay and lesbians and transgender begin to recognize and make sense of their feelings. Self-esteem is defined as one's thoughts and feelings about oneself and identity. Girls enjoy self-esteem through supportive relationship with her friends or others, who can provide social and moral support. In contrast, boys are more prone to assert independence in defining the relationship, deriving self-esteem from their ability to successfully influence others. Body image and the adolescence. Consciousness about body image is strong during the adolescent period. The physical features of the body, facial looks, body size, color, or skin, and etc., depends on the genetic heritage which must be respected. However, there is more to body image than physical looks, and this concerns good habits in relation to cleanliness and grooming, proper wearing of clothes according to current style, erect body posture, eye contact while communicating, decorum or good form, and confidence and decency. Cognitive development of high school learners. Changes in thinking patterns are marked by the acquisition of new cognitive skills due to the brain's increasing in weight and refining synaptic connections, which join coordinate the two hemispheres of the brain. Another brain development is the process of correlated temporal and parietal areas. This second development covers the brain system whose executive functions relate to attention, verbal fluency, language, and planning. Piaget's formal operational thinking, propositional thinking, making assertion outside visual evidence, and stating what may be possible in things not seen by eyes. B. Relativistic thinking, subjectively making an opinion on facts, involving one's own bias, prejudice, of distortion of facts which may be either right or wrong. C. Real versus possible, examining a situation and exploring the possible outcome terms of situation or solution. Ziegler's information or processing skill. Robert Ziegler views the influence of environment on thinking. In his experiments, he used rule models in relation to balance, weight and distance, conflict weight, conflict distance, and other conflict balance problems. He examined the correct and wrong answer to each of the problems and drawing out rule models in thinking and knowing. Thereafter, adolescents may show A. Speed in information processing coupled with greater awareness and control, an acquired knowledge base, a more efficient kind of thinking compared with that of the child. B. Complexity by way of considering longer-term implications and possibilities beyond here and now. C. Increased volume of information coupled with longer members. Metacognition. Metacognition is the ability to identify one's own thinking process and strategies inclusive of perception, memory, understanding, application, analysis, assessment, and innovation. The adolescent is able to state, I know that, among the memory that is stored in mind, also able to state, I know how, referring to procedural process that improves memory recall through the use of mnemonic devices. Overachievement. The overachieving adolescents may demonstrate superior works, greater interest in school works, more consistency in doing assignments, and more grade performance consciousness. Characteristics of overachievers are positive self-value, openness to authority, positive interpersonal relationship, less conflict on the issue of self-autonomy, academic orientation, goal orientation, control over anxiety. Underachievement. The adolescents may perform below the standard set, with those underachievers refer to those who have a more pronounced tendency to be passive, resulting of being submissive and docile. They follow the path of the resistance, not reacting to given assignments and school regulation. They do not participate in class and activities. Aggressive underachievers are those who tend to be talkative, disruptive, and rebellious. Behavior and adolescents' cognitive growth. Number 1. Egocentrism. This is the adolescent's tendency to think too much of themselves. while being too sensitive to social acceptance of their appearance, actions, feelings, ideas, and etc. Number 2, idealism. This refers to imagining the far-fetched and less ideal situation at home, school, and in society. Number 3, increased argumentativeness. Teens enjoy learning through the use of group dynamics including role play, discussion, debate, and drama. Developing occupational skills. Theorist John Holland has identified basic personality factors that match with attitude and work preference. Number 1, realistic. Prefers practical tasks including those requiring physical, labor, and motor coordination, and less interpersonal skills. Number 2, investigate. Prefers tasks that are conceptual such as in the fields of science and technology. Number 3, conventional. Prefers structured tasks that center to the needs of others. Number 4, enterprising. Prefers independence and innovation in business and other enterprises that reflects autonomy and personal initiative. Lastly, artistic. Prefer unstructured tasks that shows ability of self-expression. Socio-emotional development of high school learners. During adolescence, the teen develops socio-cognition in the context of family structure in the school, the community, and the media. He also manifests emotions which need to be regulated for success in school as well as for his or her emotional well-being. Human emotions. Emotions are commonly known human feelings that are manifested by varied unconscious or conscious moods. It is subjective reaction to internal or external stimulus that involves physical changes, actions, or appraisal. The unique patterns of emotions are A. Event that is strong or important. B. Psychological changes in heart pulse rate, brain activity, hormones level, and body temperature. C. Readiness for action, often described as fight or flight. D. Independence of emotion on how stimulus is appraised. Positive and negative emotions. Positive emotions like interest and joy motivate the individual to continue his or her behavior. On the other hand, negative emotion may cause withdrawal from what may be perceived as bad or dangerous. For Charles Darwin, there are 6 basic emotions, namely interest, joy and happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear, and other scientists expanded the list to include love, pride, hope, gratitude, compassion, jealousy, and anxiety. Social emotions. Social emotions start to emerge as early as toddler years, comprised by such feelings as envy, embarrassment, shame, guilt, and pride. Observable emotion during these years may not be accurate, but they can be problem if not controlled. Emotion affect learning since learners pay more attention to things with emotional significance. Implication to adolescents' care, education, and parenting. Emotional skills influence the adolescent learner's success in classwork. Learners who are able to regulate their emotions tend to be happier, better, and better able to pay attention and learn. As the teen is susceptible to peer pressure, the negative influence of social media, drug use, and addiction. Early romantic sexual advertisement. The teacher and the school can conduct intervention to assist the youths with focus on risky and inappropriate behavior while promoting positive development among adolescents. That could be all. Thank you very much.